I do think AOC is a fraud. I absolutely believe she's a fraud. Just this past week, when we were in session here in Washington, Congress was in session, and we were having an important vote on our Department of Defense appropriation bill. That's the funding bill that funds our military. Extremely important bill. And I widely supported pretty much everything in the bill, especially, pay raises for our military men and women, as well as supporting the defense of the United States of America. Within this bill is foreign aid for foreign countries and foreign aid for foreign disasters, et cetera. So I entered in amendments to strip out the foreign aid. So when you talk about the disconnect between leaders in Washington, D.C. and the American people, the disconnect is broad and wide. But here was what was exposed, and I'll just go on one of them. The amendment that would strip the $500 million that goes to Israel. Now here, I want to give some context on that because I support the people of Israel. I support people in all kinds of countries all over the world. I want the best for everyone. I sincerely do. I wish everyone well. America's $37 trillion in debt. Israel is less than $400 billion in debt. They're doing really well. Israel is doing so good. Their government provides government-funded health care, government-subsidized college tuition. That's not happening here in the United States for the American people, but yet the United States government gives Israel $3.8 billion every single year. And then in our defense appropriations bill was an additional $500 million to go to Israel. So my argument was, hey, we're hurting over here in America. We're $37 trillion in debt. We are not taking care of our own people. Can we stop funding these foreign countries, no matter who they are, friend or foe, whatever? Stop funding them. Here was the vote count. We had only six that voted for my amendment to strip that. Do you know who was not on that list? AOC. AOC, the darling of the progressive left, the one that claims to be against all the wars and wants to lead, cares about people, cares about the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, wants to stop the genocide. She did not vote for my amendment. She would not do it, and she got called out hard.
I wonder if you consider that for good or for ill, there is something unique about your country's financial, military, and ideological relationship with the state of Israel.
I think it's important to recognize that Americans are the most generous people in the world. They donate, compared to any other country, Americans on their own privately donate more money than any other country in the world. They donate to all kinds of causes all over the world, to hunger, to AIDS, to educating children, stopping child sex trafficking. Americans are genuinely generous people. Now, Israel, of course, is our ally. However, Israel is a nuclear-armed nation, and everyone seems to forget to talk about that. Their government is also a secular government. This needs to be separated from Israel of the Bible. So there's that separation there. And then we can just make the financial argument that America is flat out broke. We're $37 trillion in debt. We don't spend, we give $3.8 billion every single year to Israel, even though Israel is less than $400 billion in debt, even though Israel is a nuclear-armed nation. We don't give $3.8 billion to end homelessness in America. We don't give $3.8 billion to end the mental health crisis in America. We don't give $3.8 billion to help the drug crisis in America. And I think the American people are looking at all of this and saying, why not? And it's become an unfair situation. So in 2016, Hillary Clinton literally stole the election from Bernie Sanders during the Democrat primary. Stole it. And Bernie, what did he do? He turned around and endorsed Hillary Clinton. He didn't fight. Then their next champion became AOC, and she is being promoted widely all over the country. She's holding big rallies with Bernie Sanders, but yet then she just revealed something about herself. She refused to vote for my amendment, just pulling $500 million away from Israel. She wouldn't vote for that, so she's getting hammered by her base right now. They have been destroying her. She even had to post on X basically an explanation of why she didn't vote for my amendment. which means when she's explaining, she's losing. And the comments were massive. The comments, they were killing her. Articles have been written calling her a con, calling her a fraud. But there's other candidates rising.
Do you think, sorry to interrupt you, that AOC is somehow supported by Israeli AIPAC-style interests in a way that's tacit or explicit or clandestine or overt? And because won't she say it wasn't that aspect of the bill that caused me not to, it was some other aspect that's less controversial?
I don't know what her Israel ties are. I do think AOC is a fraud. I absolutely believe she's a fraud. She came in hard. Remember when she came in, she protested. Nancy Pelosi led a protest in her office against leadership. She was supposed to be the one to change the Democrat Party. She's fallen totally in line. She voted 100% for the Ukraine war. Voted to fund all of that. Sending funding, weapons, everything. With her amendment, she exposed herself to be a liar about demanding the end of the genocide in Gaza. So she's exposed herself, and her base is seeing it. I think that's interesting. However, there's other candidates rising up in the ranks of the Democrat Party. So, how do you say his name? Mamdani. Yes, in New York. He's an interesting candidate, and everyone's learning all about him and what he's saying, but people aren't paying attention to there's a bunch of other candidates like him. Nancy Pelosi actually has a primary challenger and a candidate very similar to Mamdani, very similar. He's a socialist Democrat. He's also AOC's former campaign manager and former chief of staff. So this isn't an ordinary primary challenger. And no Democrat would dream of primarying Nancy Pelosi. That would just be completely against the rules. So you're seeing this rise in these, and I would say they're radical. But the reason why they're going to be appealing is because we've failed the younger generations. And that's where I'm so angry. I'm angry at my own Republican colleagues. I'm angry at Washington, D.C. This place has repeatedly failed to provide hope and a future for young people today, to the point where life is totally unaffordable and they don't know if they'll ever realize the American dream, which is owning your home. And now today in America, if you do own your home, guess what? You never really own your home, because if you don't pay your property taxes, your home gets taken away. So it's all, I think what is happening is it's all a facade. It's all a lie. And young people today are seeing that. And that's why they're going to be susceptible to those radical voices that whisper great promises and things that sound wonderful, but they're not possible. They're literally not possible.
What if your coffee didn't just wake you up, but actually awakened you to new realms of consciousness? That's what's being promised by 1775 pea berry. Less than 5% of all beans can become pea berries. They're the Navy SEALs of coffee beans. Some of them just can't take Hell Week, which basically means your morning brew is rarer than a mainstream journalist telling the truth. Jake Tapper, you must have seen that Joe Biden was old. He was obviously old. It's grown high in the Bolivian mountains where the air is thin, the vibes are thick, and the beans basically whisper ancient truths to the winds. No acidic afterburn, no synthetic weirdness. This coffee doesn't leave you hungover in a feather boa or speaking fluent nonsense. Just bold, smooth, consciousness-activating coffee with clean energy and antioxidants so potent I drank it and remembered 3 of my past lives. Go to 1775coffee.com, use the code BRAND and get 15% off. Thanks for watching the video. Have a look at this one over here, or join us Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on Rumble.